Well, the Children's Services Council, when it was formed, it was such a great community experiment, I wanted to call it, and it was a new form of government, and it was a way for us to dedicate all these specific funds to children's services, specifically to children's services, and address a lot of systemic issues that affect children and families in our community. So it's been an honor, and it's been such an opportunity, and I'm very blessed with the fact that I've been appointed 3 times now, and I would love to continue to do this work as a volunteer in the community, because I feel we're making an impact, and that's the important thing. We're making our children's lives better and their future. So
it's been great having, one of the interesting things about you, I think, is that you came to this not as a provider, not as someone who's worked in the system, but just as a concerned citizen who had seen children around you and a mother yourself, of course. And so that passion has just been amazing. You've dedicated yourself so much to Broward's children.
Thank you, and I do appreciate that and the opportunity, and it's been a lot of learning for me, but I've had a tremendous staff like yourself and your staff who has helped me navigate the system, the children's services system, and understand what the needs are and how we can make things better for them. So in that respect, I feel also blessed because I've learned a lot, and hope to continue to learn a lot and continue to contribute.
Well, and you've contributed a great deal. You've really made a couple of areas your passion, or you've shown your passion in a couple of areas that may not seem as sexy, if you will, to some, but are so critical to the success. And one of those is the capacity building for the organizations that serve our children.
Yes, and really, capacity building it's a very common term these days, and really refers to the ability of nonprofit organizations to perform optimally. And so when you think of it as what nonprofit organizations have done in our country over the last century, they have provided a lot of stability for our civil society and a backbone for our civil society by providing services, advocacy, and sometimes social services to the communities that they serve. So the well-being of those nonprofits really reflects on the well-being of our communities. So that's why it's so important. And all of us at the council realized that from the very beginning. So we were able to create a multi-forum for the nonprofit organizations and the agencies that we service through different venues. We created the Capacity Building Committee early on, and through that committee, which meets regularly on a 3-4 month basis during the year, providers come together, funders, private and public funders come together, and experts in the field of nonprofit management, and they sit, and sometimes we just talk, we have conversations, or we have presentations, and they have been able to come to us as Children's Services Council and provide us with a lot of input of what they feel is needed out there in the community. So it has served for us as a barometer of what is really happening out there in the community through these conversations, just to begin with this forum that we have at the council. So at the same time, it allowed us to understand things that needed to be changed in order to make it easier, and I say easier, with hesitation, for nonprofit organizations to access funding to service children. So, you know, that was some of the benefits of understanding that early on and to have the support of all the council members and the staff.
And I think it's also provided them an opportunity to network with each other and discover resources that they didn't realize existed, and to become knowledgeable about things like 211, about the volunteers, and about the trainings that are available that CSC and others fund. Before we run out of time, I also want to ask you, I know one of your other passions has been cultural competence, to make sure that the services that are provided through our providers are culturally competent. Can you talk a little bit about why that was important to you?
Well, you know, being part of the community and being, you know, from another country originally, I feel that, you know, I could see how Broward was changing, and as how everybody else has seen that Broward has changed over the years, and the composition of our community has changed, and there's a lot of minority representation in all of our communities, and there's a lot of cultural differences, and it's important when we deliver services to those children and their families that we address those cultural differences.
Thank you so much for your years of service and for taking on these issues and making sure that our providers are successful for our children.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, now I'm joined by Alan Wolnick, CEO of After School Programs, Inc., one of CSC's longest-serving providers of after-school programs. Welcome, Alan. So nice to see you.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here with you.
So you have been funded by the Children's Services Council since our very first year of operation in 01-02.
Yes, we have, and we've grown because of you. When I say grown, that just means that we are able to take care of more children each year. CSC wants to make sure that when it invests the taxpayers' money, that they're getting a proper return. And they've instituted academic curriculum, as well as PE activities so that the children have a well-rounded program. They've instituted outcomes so that we have to do pre-test and then take post-test, and they can see the results of the taxpayers' money that they've invested. They also give us an opportunity to do more things because we're there and because the program is funded. And for example, this year, we applied for a government program, and we are now feeding 2,000 children a hot dinner every day. That we wouldn't have the opportunity to do this if it wasn't for Children's Services Council funding the program in the first place so that the children are there.
As I always say to my staff, we don't succeed unless you, the providers, succeed. And it's so wonderful to have great partners in our provider community that can pick up the challenge of transforming these children's lives.
But it's been our pleasure to do it, and we hope that we can do even more.
We'll look forward to it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, we've come a long way over these 10 years. Still, we have been and will always be guided by one constant principle. Our focus is our children. For their benefit and the benefit of the taxpayers of Broward County, the CSC will continue to lead the community in addressing the issues facing our children and families, advocate on their behalf, and fund those programs and services that have the most impact in improving their lives. That's what we've done so far, and that's what we'll continue to do moving forward. I've been your host, Cindy Arenberg-Seltzer, President and CEO of the Children's Services Council of Broward County. For copies of this program or any other episode of Future First, call us at 954-377-1000 or visit www.cscbroward.org. And be sure to join us next time on Future First, focus on Broward's children.